In today's video, I'm going to be showing you guys how to actually make a two-player trader in Minecraft. Now, this is a redstone machine that will allow two players to fairly trade any item in Minecraft. So let's get into it. Starting off, let me show you a quick example. So right now I am on the red player side and I'll be throwing an item on top of the crying obsidian. Then I will accept the trade. Now obviously I'm only accepting the trade now because this is an example, but obviously you want to accept it at the same time so that the players actually know what they're trading for. But then the player with the emerald will throw it down and then accept the trade as well. Once it is accepted, both items will disappear. Then you unflick the lever and then the item will be waiting for you right over here. As you can see, I got a red block on the green side, and then on the red side I will get the green block. And as you can see, it fully works. And it is really cool. Now obviously, this works for any type of item. And it can be done in multiple ways. So let me show you a few examples if you actually are concerned. So the first example is obviously how do you do this with enchanted items? Let's say you have an enchanted book or an enchanted piece of armor / a weapon. How do you actually know that they're giving you the exactly enchanted one instead of some one-off enchanted item? Well, to do this, you can actually enable a resource pack that has visual enchantments. So as you can see, I can go into my inventory and I have two things, a weapon and a piece of armor. One is a sword that has fire aspect, which is indicated by the fire coming off of it. The other is a diamond chestplate with protection, unbreaking, and thorns. Each piece of enchantment will actually add on to the chestplate. As you can see, the thorns are the vines, protection is the thing in the middle, and unbreaking is there as well. So obviously, what you want to do is you want to throw this down, and you can see on the floor this, and you can actually see if it is the right enchantment. And as you can see, those are both correct. So what you basically do is you flick it down and then you flick it back up, and then you can see that I got the sword with fire aspect 2 on it. Now obviously it doesn't show you the exact levels of the enchantments, but that doesn't matter as much as you know you're getting the right enchantments on it, and if they're giving you the right enchantments, I doubt they would spend the time to get a fake one of those, since that is more complex than just giving you the actual thing. Same thing with the enchantment books. As you can see, this one has channeling and this one have mending. They are two different things. If I throw it down, it will be this way, and if I throw it down, it will be the other way. Also, if you accidentally throw your book onto here or any type of item, you can simply go to the side and pick it back up just like so, and you'll get it back. But obviously, that is how it is done. As you can see, those are two different things. You just have to learn them, go into like creative or something, and scroll through all of the enchanted items, and you can memorize which one is which. Each one has its own indicator on it, so do not worry. But the last way is actually how do you indicate how much items you're getting. So let's say they give you like a stack of blocks, and you want to make sure that they're actually giving you that right amount of blocks. Well, there are two ways of doing this. One is the really simple way and pretty basic way. It is actually just making them throw it all down by holding down the Q button. If you hold down the Q button, it'll actually throw all of them on the ground just like so. And as you can see, that was a whole ton, so you could just guess that, oh yeah, they're giving me the right amount. But if you want to actually confirm this, you can use this amount indicator. Now this is actually built in, so what you can basically do is determine how much blocks are in there. So if there's 1, it will look like this. If there is 2, it will look like that, which is 2 to 16 blocks. If it is 17 to 32, it will look like this. If it is 33 to 48, it will look like this, each one adding on a block onto it. 49 to 64 will look like that. And then multiple 64s will actually give you just 2 stacks of the 64 item. And as you can see, it is pretty simple to identify. And as you can see, it will actually collect all the items in no time, and you'll get all of them. Just make sure you're not doing more than 5 stacks of blocks per trade. If you need to do more, just trade multiple times and you should be good. Now looking at this, you may think it is a difficult design, but it is actually pretty simple. It requires few redstone and it is pretty simple to understand what's going on. First I'm gonna explain to you what is exactly going on here, and then I will actually show you how to build it, like doing a basic tutorial on it. So let's get into it. So starting off with the room is pretty simple with little redstone design into it. Now basically it only has a redstone lamp with a lever on it, as well as a lever connecting the door, so that you can close it so nobody can walk in behind you and steal your item. It is basically just there for safety and protection. You can also replace this block with obsidian as well. But this will prevent anyone from simply breaking the machine and going in and collecting the trade item without your knowledge. So this basically proofs it so that no one can cheat. And as you can see, you can look around. This is basically impossible to get the other person's item with 2 blocks blocking you from the item. And even if you go over here, you will not get the item. The only way for them to actually do it is to jump on top of here and break the glass, then a light shard through it, which will be pretty complex, and you can also just easily grab the item if you see them about to do that. What you can also do is add an Elder Guardian. If you want to take the time, you can actually bring him over here, and he'll actually give you mining fatigue. So if I go in survival mode, I have mining fatigue, and as you can see, it takes really long to break this glass. And imagine that with anything on here. As you can see, I can barely break this and barely break the obsidian. But after that is basically just the confirmation system and the system to actually collect your items, which is pretty simple. You just flick the lever and both sides have to confirm. Now once you actually flick the lever, a indicator will go off using a comparator, and it will go down until it activates a sticky piston. The sticky piston will push a block up, allowing a redstone signal to shoot through, and it will only go all the way if both sides are up. As you can see, it can only go this far and it can't make it to the end. But if both sides were up, just like so, it could actually make it all the way to the end. So as you can see, it made it all the way to the end. And it will activate a couple of things. The first thing it will obviously activate is the minecart rails, pushing it to the other side to collect the item. Now it will do this for both sides. As you can see, one will go over here and the other over here. And then once it pushes back here, it will also do one more thing. It will turn on this redstone repeater, making this actually not go through. Now this redstone line actually activates it so that these rails are powered, making the minecart push back to its original side. So these will be deactivated until one of the levers are flicked off again. And then obviously it will do this for both sides. This way is a little bit more complex since it's going under a redstone line, but pretty simple as well. As you can see, that is all of the redstone. That was it. That's all of this, and it is not complex at all. That is all the explaining I need to do, and we can get into the actual building of this. Now for this example, I'll just be building it, but obviously you can build it however you want. The first thing you're going to need to do is set up the thing itself. Now obviously you're going to need some space downwards, so I would recommend that you have that. But if you're just building this above ground, you should be fine. So once you have it, it is time to make the rooms. The platform is actually a 3x4, just like so. And this will be the start and front of your room. So then what you're going to want to do is go one out with obsidian, then you can build across here. Now you do not need to fill in the corners with obsidian, but you just want to do it however you think would look good. But you can obviously follow along with me. This will be 3 wide, and the whole building will be 3 tall, plus a thing added onto the top, just like so. And obviously, to not waste obsidian, I'm not going to fill in the corners. So once you actually have your room designed just like so, it is time to build in the other room. Now the other room, you want to obviously do the same thing, but so this time leave 2 spaces in the middle, just like that. So now that you have that, it is time to actually fully build the other room. You're just going to basically copy what you did on the other side, and obviously just do the same thing. Now once you're done with that room, you can build in the floor. The floor can be obsidian, which I would recommend considering it leads to all the minecarts. So this is probably one of the most important things to make obsidian besides the main wall with the glass on top of it. Now, once you actually have that, you can fill in the glass. So the glass can be any color you want. I'd recommend making it clear so both parties can see what they're trading for. Then, once you are done with that, fill in the backside of this wall. And make sure to have space basically mirroring the room, so the door would be over here. Now, just think of these rooms are just exact mirrors of themselves, which is pretty simple to do. Now, whatever side the door is on, you're going to want to put your crying obsidian there. So that one will be on that side, and this one will be on this side. Then put a piece of obsidian next to it, and the redstone lamp to the right of the crying obsidian. So whichever way you're looking at it, just make sure it is to the right of it. Now, once you're done with that, you can obviously fill in the platform over here as well. You do not need to put lights in here, but I'd normally put the light over here, basically to the left of entering the room. But once you have that down, it is time to do some redstone. Next thing you're going to want to do is put a lever on top of these. Then lastly, we're just going to put in the stairs. The stairs is just basically going to face this way. Then you're going to need one more going off to the side. Now, you only need one, just like so, and then this part you can fill up with obsidian or any other block. But as you can see, the stairs should look like that, and these parts should be empty. So make sure under the obsidian and crying obsidian that you placed, it is empty. So do that for both sides and include the stairs. Remember, it is just opposites of each other, so it is pretty simple to follow along with that pattern. Now, it should look something like this where it's covered so that you can't see the outside. And there should be a little hole here so that you can actually access the minecart. Now, it is time to do the redstone. First, break where your redstone lamp is. So, you're going to want to do this on both sides, but first is this side. Then what you're going to want to do is use a comparator facing this way. The back side should be facing the redstone lamp, and it should look something like this. Then what you're going to want to do is extend it out by one and put a redstone piece. And you're going to want to do this to the other side. And you can also just use wool like I'm doing to keep track of your lines to make sure that you aren't messing it up. Then what you're going to want to do is actually work on the 2-system module. So to do that, what you're going to want to do is add a sticky piston and a slime block. You're also going to want to get an immovable block, so you can use something like a furnace, or you can actually use some glazed terracotta. It does not matter, but I'll be using a furnace for this one since those are the easiest things to get. So build it somewhere over here, just so it's off to the side, not interfering with any of the minecarts. So I'm going to build it right where this block is, and I'm going to start building it like so. So I'm going to put a 1 over here and 1 over here. Both of them will have a slime block on them and a basic block on top of that as well. The furnaces should go both like that, and it should look something like this. Now, after you have done that, bring one of them all the way down so that it activates the first piston. So it should look something like that, where it's activating the first piston, and you can test it by turning it on. As you can see, turned on, it will activate the piston. Next, what you're going to want to do is the same thing to the other side. Just bring this down so that it activates the piston. You can break all of the blocks that are unneeded and not holding any redstone. What you're going to want to do is grab some rails. So you're going to need 4 powered rails and 2 normal rails. So make sure that you have that, and once you do, it is time to place them in. So just place them exactly like that. Now, once you have that, it's time to put in the minecarts. Now the minecart should be on top of the obsidian, and it should be hopper minecarts. Make sure it is a minecart with a hopper. So put one on top of the obsidian over there, and on top of the obsidian over here. And it should look like that. Now, once you have had this done, it is time to add in the redstone powering. I also may add configurations and workarounds to this previous line, so make sure that you are keeping up with that as well, since I'm just doing this off the top of my head. So what you're going to want to do here is actually add on to this. So what you're going to want to do is make this power on these rails. So whichever rails it is on, you're going to want this line to power on both of them. So you're going to want to bring this around this way, and you're going to want to make it connect up to this one. Now obviously this one's interfering with the green lines, so what you're going to have to do is actually extend this out a little bit and make it like that, which is a little modification to it, and it shouldn't be that bad for you guys. As you can see, that has worked and you have powered this on. Make sure that it went to the other side as well. It is time to do the same thing for the other side. So you're going to need to go onto this end. You can mark it like this so that you know where you have to go. And you're basically going to want to make a redstone line connecting it. So for this one, I will actually go down from here and make it just along the floor. Now I'm trying to make sure that I am prepared to add future lines in, so these may or may not be permanent. So now that I'm done with that, it is time to add in the on configuration. So you're going to want to work off of this one. So what you want to do here is basically add an outstretch going into this way. So obviously this is interfering with this line now, so you're going to have to do a workaround to that. So what I'm going to do here is just basically move this down, similar to what we did with the green line. So just keep on moving it down to something probably like this, so it won't interfere with the future line, and make it look something like that. So now that this still works, we can add on to this. So what we're going to want to do is simply add a redstone dust and a comparator. Once you have the comparator over here facing this way so that it's on by powering this, you're going to want another line. The other line will be coming in from this side, and it will actually be a redstone repeater going into this, and then a little bit of redstone dust coming from this way. And it will look something similar to this. I want to actually extend it out so it doesn't interfere with that. So once you're actually done with that, you should extend the line out, and as you can see, this should be off. If it is not off, what you're going to want to do is right click on this, and then it will be off. And to make sure that that is working, just simply break this repeater, and as you can see, that is back on. So just put back the repeater and you should be fine. Now what you're going to want to do is add a line here and a redstone dust connecting it. Now you're going to want to do it to the opposite end as well. So make sure you want to go over there, just simply add another line extending all the way until you get over here. So then this is pretty simple, you just go around it, just like so. So as you can see, this line is actually interfering right over here, so just make a little extension onto here. Hopefully that will not affect anything for you since this is already extended outwards. And you can break this, and this should work. Now it is time for us to test it out. So what you're going to want to do is head over here and flick off of these levers. And only one of them really has to be off, it does not really matter. So what I'm going to do is trade blue wool for a white wool. So as you can see, the blue wool is on the trading station and the white wool is too. Then you're going to flick the lever just like so, both of them go on, there is nothing here. You flick this and then the item will appear here. And as you can see, I got the blue wool just like so. And then if we go over here, I will get the white wool as well. And that was pretty simple to do. One last thing I wanted to show you is actually a modification to make this even more safer. Now this comes up with the question, what if actually someone cheats the system? By that, I mean they put a trade down and then one person accepts it, but the other person quickly takes the item and then accepts it again. So making it so that one person would have the item while the other person has basically nothing. Well, to actually counter this, what you could do is add in these doors. Now, by doing this, you'd basically put in the things on your side and do it with the other side as well. So as you can see, both sides would have one thing, and then the players would go behind this door, closing themselves in. Then they would have to press the accept button by jumping, and then the other player would also have to do that. Making it so the only way to escape these iron doors is by pressing the accept button. Now obviously you can accept it, then it will go down here, and then you press it once again, and you will have your fair trade. Now obviously you can even make this more protected by adding some stairs to make sure no one can actually get past it by simply doing anything else, but that is even for more protection. But I'll be showing you how to do this really quickly. But obviously I doubt people would go that far, especially with this advanced system. So all you're going to need is a choice block, a redstone dust, and iron door. First, what you're going to want to do is place an iron door inside of here, just like so, and one on the outside right over here. Now, as you can see, it should look something like that. So when you close the door, this will flip inwards, and when you turn this on, this will open up. Then what you're going to want to do is obviously move the lever to the top of this. Same thing with the other side. Then just add in the doors once again, which is pretty simple to do, and it is pretty easy. So once you've actually done this, it is time to add in the redstone. So the basic redstone to add onto this is basically just adding on to the white line. Now the white line is actually the indicator of if both of these are actually up. So make sure to turn them both on, otherwise this will not work. So basically what you're going to want to do is add a line going to both of the doors. So one of the doors should be over here, as you can see, so we're going to need to make a line going over there. Now there's already a line cutting through here, so we can just add onto it going all the way up to this door. Make sure that there is 2 spaces right there, and then build the line up, just like so. Now obviously try not to make it interfere with other lines, so just make it look like that. And as you can see, if you go inside, this should have powered the door, making it open. And now you're going to want to do the same thing to the other side. Now the other door will be over here, so it's going to be a little bit more complex. But what you could do is just add another line adding onto this. Make sure not to come in contact with the slime, but if you go over here, you can easily add the line just like so. Just keep on going upwards just like that, and you should be good. Now add onto this, and then you are done. Now as you can see, this should have turned on the door if you inputted all the redstone correctly, and it is done. As you can see, both sides will open up. And then what you're going to want to do is add an obsidian here, and possibly a stair there as well, and make sure you do that for both sides. So this is so that they can't just basically open back up the door once they're in it. So once they're in it, they have to accept the trade, and if they actually don't want to, they can use other means of getting out. But obviously, you wouldn't accept the trade if both parties aren't inside, or the party actually takes off the trade and then goes back in. So obviously, just don't accept the trade until both parties are inside of it, just to make sure that no one changes the trade. So make sure that both parties are inside of here, and then accept the trade afterwards. But anyways, that's the end of this video. I really hope you guys enjoyed. This may have been a little bit of a longer video, but I wanted to go in depth about this since this is one of the things I didn't really see on YouTube that people have done. But anyways, thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you guys next time. Peace out.